In my last video, I spoke about my indie dev journey and how I like making video games with Unreal Engine. Well, in today's video, I thought it would be interesting to talk about the game that I'm actively developing at the moment, my little afterlife. So let's get into it. So I've spoken before on the channel about how much I enjoy Animal Crossing. I have played a few of the different Animal Crossing games over the years, and I just really enjoy that style of cozy game where there's not necessarily a storyline to follow, and it's more about having chill time where you decorate an island or a home and find new items and collect things, and that is what I wanted to achieve with my second game. So in my last video I spoke about how my first indie game, Tundralia, was a very heavy narrative based game. It was an RPG and it involved sort of a long quest system with a few different in-depth systems. So for my second game, I wanted to create more of a self-enclosed, smaller project, which I could then hopefully publish on different platforms as well as just PC. So it's been a dream of mine to create a handheld game and a game for sort of mobile. So hopefully with this game, this is something that I'll be able to achieve. So what is the game? So My Little Afterlife is a cozy game inspired by Animal Crossing, except it's got a much more spooky aesthetic that comes with the name. So you find yourself in the afterlife and you take on the role as the new Grim Reaper after finding out that the old Grim Reaper has locked himself away in a tower and let the afterlife fall into disrepair. And from there on, you meet a couple of different residents that are in the afterlife. Old Bones, so he's sort of the introductory resident that will teach you about the game and the different sort of mechanics and kind of be like your caretaker, an introduction to the game itself. And then you'll also meet Brian Brains, and he'll as well teach you sort of a different system within the game. So how do you go about collecting and getting new residents? Taking Animal Crossing as sort of an inspiration, with that game I really like the fact that you could find different villagers for your town or your island, depending on which game, and invite them to live on your island. So I wanted to create sort of a similar mechanic, but rather than sort of finding them out in the world, you summon them to your afterlife instead. So there's a summoning table on the island, and through this you can summon different residents to your afterlife, and then each of these requires different items to kind of give you a reason to hunt down these different residents, and each resident has sort of a different quirky personality and is based after sort of a different spooky sort of creature. So for example, you can summon a scarecrow, and if you summon him to your afterlife, he will sell you various different farm-based decorations which you can then use to decorate your island. Or you can summon Finley, which is a little fish man, and he loves plumbing, so he will sell you different sort of plumbing based items. Right now in the base game, there's 10 different residents you can summon to your afterlife, and there's a limit of 8 residents that you can have at any given time. And that's because I kind of want players to have to make a considered choice as to who they want on their island. So I find it quite interesting when I play that I already have sort of my residents that I find the most fun and that are my favourites, so I quite like having them. But as I eventually add more residents in the future, I also want it that players could basically fill their 8 slots with zombie residents and just have sort of an island full of zombies. Or it might be that you just want a good mix of residents. So I want players to basically have that choice. And as I've said, each resident also has its own sort of unique reason for summoning them, and that might be that they have items for sale. So one resident might sell a load of decorations, and another resident might sell a load of items that you can equip and wear. Or another resident, for example Rex, who is a hellhound, he will sporadically dig a hole, and within that hole you can then find different crafting ingredients. I've also added a friendship system with residents. I wanted players to be able to increase their friendships with the different ghouls and creatures they summon to their island. Right now, This system is quite basic, so there's some items that drop from various sources in the afterlife, and upon using these you can then increase your friendship with a given resident. But this is something that I want to definitely build upon, and I'd love to hear your ideas on how I could flesh out this system. I have thought about maybe adding a cooking system where you could cook recipes for your different residents and then use these to increase your friendships. And then by increasing your friendship, that will then change how they interact with you, as well as the items they might have on offer once you reach a certain friendship level. Another sort of key aspect of this game, similar to Animal Crossing, is that I want the players to be able to decorate the afterlife for themselves. So as I said, you can get decorations from residents, but you can also craft them yourself at the crafting table, and there's various different recipes that you can craft. This is also something that I'll continuously build on and add new items to the different categories over the course of different updates. And once you've got all of these decorations, you can then place them on your island. There's currently a cap of 500 items that you can place, and as you hit certain milestones, you then unlock different areas of your afterlife that then you can decorate in. So initially, once you've placed 15 decorations, you can then enter the Cozy Crypt, which is a little indoors crypt that you can then basically turn into a lovely little house for yourself. And then there's an east and west wing as well, which require you to have placed 50 decorations and then 100 decorations. And then at the back of the island, there's sort of a hidden beach, which requires you to have placed 150 decorations. As with other systems, there'll be more that I will add for decorations and requirements for why you want to place them. And speaking of decorations, there's all various different types of ones. You can either lean in and go really spooky with how you decorate their afterlife. So there's gravestones, old wizened trees, plants, broken fences, so you could really make a spooky afterlife if you want. But if that's not your thing, you could also go really modern and quirky with it as well. So there's modern furniture pieces, park benches. You could make a nice, beautiful park in your afterlife. As well as that, there's also more like themed furniture sets. So Jack-o'-lantern, he sells farm-based items. So you could create sort of a nice autumnal farm for your afterlife instead. And carrying on with customization, as I spoke about before, you can also customize your little Reaper, the character that you play. So when you first load into the game, there's a customization system, so you can customize how you look and set your character's name. But as well as that, you can then unlock different items to customize how you look. So you can unlock different outfits, as well as headpieces and weapons and items to carry in your offhand, as well as back pieces. And there's also little pets as well that you can unlock that float alongside your character. And this is again another aspect of Animal Crossing that I really wanted to bring into my game, and that was allowing the players to make the characters feel like their own and make them feel unique. And that's something that I've really aimed to achieve by allowing characters to be able to collect items and wear these items to change their appearance. As well as this, another system that I've also added outside of the decorating is fishing. So this is a bit more of a basic system, but there's different fishing spots around the island. And once you buy a fishing rod from Old Bones, you can then go to these fishing spots and fish up items. Another differentiation that I wanted to make from other cozy games is I've added a basic combat system. So within the afterlife, there is the Reaper's Tower, which is where the Reaper is locked away. So you can go into this tower, and the Reaper has created several different monsters to sort of protect his abode, and you can fight these monsters using your combat abilities across the hotbar at the bottom of the screen. And combat is relatively easy. I wanted the game to be simple and fun to play, but by fighting these different enemies, you can find new items, new decorations for your island, as well as new costumes to wear and items to accessorize your character with. So that's the game in a nutshell. As I said in my previous video, I really wanted to create something that I enjoy playing but isn't such of a mammoth project as my other game, and I think this game has a nice core gameplay loop where you basically juggle decorating your island and your character and summoning new residents, and sort of the aim of the game is to kind of just relax and decorate essentially. There isn't some sort of big long quest that you need to fulfill. You can basically jump into the game, spend a few minutes decorating your island, run into the Reaper's Tower and kill some enemies, maybe summon a new resident, and that kind of be the gameplay session. And then the next day you might want to work towards summoning a different resident and getting some certain items to be able to build a bar on your island. It's very much that sort of gameplay that I wanted to make, and hopefully what I've achieved. As I've kind of said throughout the video, this is something that I'm actively working on at the moment, so if you guys have any feedback, I'd love to hear it. You can download the demo on Steam right now. This is an earlier build than what I am working on now, so some of the systems are not as developed as they are currently within my internal build, and it is missing some features and some residents that the full game will have. But if you play that and then let me know of any feedback, that would be greatly appreciated. You can leave this on the discussion board on Steam or on this video as well. That would be really helpful. And once I release this game, this is going to be something that I will continuously update. I've got plenty of ideas for new residents I could add to the island, as well as sort of interesting things I could do for extra content as well. And I'd also love to add seasonal events. That's another aspect of Animal Crossing that I really enjoy, having those seasonal events for Halloween, Christmas, Easter, and I think this game being sort of spooky definitely leans itself into the Halloween angle, so there's plenty of things that I could do around that. So that's a little Afterlife in a nutshell. I'm really excited to release the game, and hopefully you'll all be really excited for it as well. I might do more videos talking about it over the development process, but the game is quite far along, and hopefully I'll be able to announce a release date very soon, as it would be great to get the game into your hands and get you guys playing it and get feedback from you all. So hopefully you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching, and please leave a comment and subscribe for more. Thanks again, bye!